All right, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. This video will consist of two types of videos. The first, we're gonna go through a in-menu calibration process from OPPO 4K player. While you're watching a movie, you can actually calibrate. And the best way to calibrate, I'm gonna show you here how to do that in a minute. We're gonna do that first. And then after I finish this segment of a video, then we're going to jump into another segment where I'm going to connect my Apple 4K TV through a input in the back of my OPPO 203 UDP 4K player. And then we're going to see how well the upscaling works. Keep in mind, it's impossible for Apple 4K TV to distribute HDR, dynamic metadata, due to a input. The input, it's not pass through, so that way you cannot pass through HDR, okay? And it's not 2.2, it's not a pass through. That's the one negative. I wish that they allowed that. That would have been cool if OPPO had allowed that. If they had allowed the pass through, that would have been cool, but they didn't, you know what I mean? But hey, I'm gonna do just the upscaling test. I just want to see how well the upscale works. Again, I don't recommend you connecting your Apple 4K TV or any of your devices through OPPO. I recommend you directly using a premium HDMI cable and directly connecting it to your TV. That's the way it should be. All right. Remember, I do tests here. I'm not advising people, hey, this is what you gotta do. No, I'm just doing tests. That's all I'm doing. All right, so let's first start with this segment. What you're looking here, it's a Batman Lego movie. We're gonna go click on one scene. We'll use this option here, that's A and B repeat, which is right here. I use this all the time. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right here. It's A and B repeat right here. You click on this magnifying glass icon and you click on A and B, and then you can repeat a certain scene. And I use this option to calibrate a movie. So I just keep it in one scene, repeating and looping, and I can calibrate my TV better that way, looking at that scene, okay? This is something that I have found out way before I got this player. I find out from Vincent Teo. For those of you who don't know Vincent Teo, he's probably one of the best out there in the business. He's certified calibrator. He knows about the TVs. He knows everything there is to know about the TVs and panels and picture and video and calibrating. So he's certified. So he's pretty good. Excuse me. So I highly recommend you go check him out. Okay. But also keep in mind, when you go see Vincent, he is talking to professionals. Like, you gotta know your game. You have to be on top of your game. When you go watch his videos, the way he explains things, you got to know what he's talking about. Like, what is the chroma upsampling? What does that mean? What does the Y stands for? Y stands for brightness. See, you got to know all these codecs. When he talks about stuff, this technical stuff, he's using a technical language, and he's assuming that you're a professional, that you know, so he's talking to that kind of audience. The way I do things, I try to talk to regular Joes and Marys, like regular people like you. If I was using a technical jogger, YCBCR and 444 and 420, if I was just giving all these numbers out, then you guys would get confused. It's like, what is he talking about? I don't understand. So I try to do it in a basic terms. He's doing it in a more professional, advanced terms. So if you're gonna go watch his video, you gotta know your stuff. Okay, otherwise you're gonna get lost. And he does use a lot of technical language on there. So anyway, go check him out. He's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and let's do this. All right. Oh, and yeah, I forgot. I gotta give a shout out to Spook Trooper. Spook Trooper. It's his birthday, so happy birthday, man. I wish you a happy birthday, healthy, and wonderful happy birthday. Have fun, man. Spook Trooper. There you go. All right, so here we are. I chosen this one specific scene in a movie. This is the option that I was talking about, the A and B, where you press right here on the magnifying glass right here. It means zoom in, but I use the, not the zoom in, I'm sorry, the A and B right here. If you guys can see it, I'll put it right here. There it is, A and B right here, the replay that I use. And then here on the zoom in, this is the stretch 2. The stretch, you don't lose any quality, and you don't lose any ratio because you're stretching the picture. But it's stretched not vertically, it is stretched diagonally. So that way it fills up the entire screen, okay, as you're seeing right now. And it looks fantastic. Now let's go ahead, let's jump into a, right here, there's a button right here I want to show you. I want to click focus here. This is a picture quality right here. You click right here on the picture quality, and from here you're going to be able to have your calibration right away pop up. This is what's so unique about OPPO 203. You don't have to go and stop the video and go to the menu and see if you can find it. Here it pops immediately for you, so you can calibrate this picture right away. So you click right here and you will see it. There it is. And from here you can calibrate, and you have three different presets modes where you can choose. For example, let's say I want to save this preset, mode 3 for this movie. I can do that here. I can leave it on like that. And whenever I decide to watch this movie, or if I create a universal preset for all of my 4K Blu-ray movies, I can only leave it on mode 3. And that way I can always go back to mode 3 whenever I choose to watch this movie. So that's another cool feature that this OPPO 203 has, all right? You do have brightness. You can choose how much of brightness you want. You can move it down a little bit if you want. There, you can keep it up to -5, or you can go to a contrast and have the contrast a little bit higher, so you get a little bit better peak brightness. You can do that as well. You can come down to sharpness. If you need a little extra pop, you can, I would use about 2, +2. And then noise reduction, since we have a little bit of sharpness here, we can keep the noise reduction to +1. And you can go back and you can check out your presets. So you see what I did here, I had my brightness down to -5 a little bit. Actually, the brightness should be at -4. I don't want to bring it too much. So let's keep the brightness at -4 right there. And this is a cool and unique feature that you can do this, because it gives you easy access to calibrating your 4K movies. And that's what's so unique about this 4K player. It's fast, it's very responsive, it loads super quick, and everything's here at the fingerprints on the this remote control. At your press of a button, everything's there for you. Whatever you want to do, you want to get your top and bottom black bars, you want to remove them, and you want to have your ratio diagonally stretched, you can do that. Or you can have a full fit to screen TV picture mode, you can do that as well. And you can calibrate your movie the way you want. So you have a wide range of options here to do, so you can truly enjoy your movies the way you want to enjoy them. So you have that variety of options, and this is why OPPO is intended for home cinema theater enthusiasts, people who really want to have the best of the best, and OPPO will definitely give you that. It's truly going to give you a variety of different options. And another cool feature, let's exit this, is the bitrate. There's the button right here. I'm going to show it to you right now. I'm going to focus my camera. There's the info button right here. You click on it, and it tells you the bit rate. This movie, it's encoded to 5760 Mbps, so it's a good bit rate. It's not like the highest bit rate ever. The highest bit rate I have seen was on the so far on the Dolby Vision, for Transformers The Last Night. The Last Night was going up to 80 to 89 megabits per second, and that was pretty cool. And you can see it right here. You see right here? See where my finger is? You see it's 60, 58. Now these bit rates, they vary sometimes depending on the scene. Like, see, I'm pausing it right now so it doesn't read it. As soon as I play it, it starts. So the movie runs about 60 Mbps, which is pretty good for 4K HDR10. Dolby Vision obviously uses a different codec, so it's going to be higher. Okay, it uses a dual layer. One layer is for the HDR, the other one's for the dynamic metadata. So Dolby Vision, obviously, you'll be using a different codec, and it will be much higher bit rate. And you definitely notice that, you definitely see that. Now, somebody's been asking me, like, oh, what is the difference between this 4K player, or let's say a Samsung 4K player, and X800 Sony 4K player? Well, the one difference is obviously the quality of picture. It's in constant bit rate. You know, it really, this laser eye advanced disk tray and advanced chip processing that's built into it, it really encodes and reads the 4K movies to its original bit rate. As you all know, this thing reads every codec, okay? And that's a codec down there. What you see, that codec HEVC, that's the Blu-ray disc, the codec that's recorded and encoded on, all right? And it just looks better. I mean, here I am on a entry-level 4K TV, and even this entry-level 4K TV looks great. Now, if you have a OLED, if you have a C7, B7, or A1E, it's going to look even better. All right. And another thing that sucks. Look, let me just put it this way. It is really ridiculous to compare OPPO to any other 4K player, because OPPO, it kills every other player out there in the market because it has so many features built into it. The only thing that's missing on the OPPO, it's the streaming apps. But do you really care about streaming apps? You already have that built into your TV. Do I really need streaming apps? I already have my streaming apps everywhere. I have it on my consoles. I have it everywhere. No one really cares about streaming apps on the 4K player. What people care about the 4K player is, number one, the quality and variety of options and features. And this thing has all of the above. Variety of options and features, okay? So it is really kind of pointless to compare it to a player like Sony X800. I'm not saying anything bad about Sony X800, but come on. Their remote control is ridiculous. It's just like barely responds. You can barely see what you're typing in on their remote control. And their loading time, it's not that good. Come on. It's an entry-level 4K player. It is what it is. You're better off going with the Xbox One X or Xbox One S, okay? If you want to go with the entry-level 4K player, you know, I would recommend the Xbox One X. If you want to get your feet wet, here's my advice. If you want to get your feet wet, go with the Xbox One X, man. But if you want to go a little bit professional and advanced, then OPPO, it's it. OPPO, it's it. Okay? All right, now the next segment of this video is going to be me hooking up my Apple 4K TV to see how well it upscales. Remember, I won't be able to have any HDR or Dolby Vision because that input on back of the OPPO doesn't support the pass-through, meaning you cannot have HDR or Dolby Vision, all right? Doesn't support that pass-through. The only thing it will do, it's going to be upscaling it. But we'll see. Look, it's a test. I don't want you guys to think that I approve of this. I don't approve of it. You should always connect your Apple 4K TV directly to your TV, or any other device directly to your TV, all right? This is a test. So before you type on the comment section telling me this, telling me that, remember, this is a test. That's what I'm doing. I'm testing, all right? All right, so let me show you this. In case you want to check your input. And you probably wonder, well, where do you go to check your input? This is where you go. Okay, there's a button right here. You see where it says input? I don't know if you guys can see it right here. You click on the input, and from the input, you're going to be able to choose, do you want to go to the HDMI in? And that's where you find your input device. So we're going to click on it right now. So you're going to switch to a HDMI in. There you can see me. It's only a dark screen, and the reason it doesn't work, it's probably because I have this Apple TV set to Dolby Vision. So what I'll probably have to do, I'll have to go back to my Apple TV and turn off the Dolby Vision, because this thing cannot pass through Dolby Vision. So I'm going to have to go back to my Apple TV, turn off the Dolby Vision, and then turn it back to 1080p normal, and then we'll see how the upscale is going to work. Okay, so I'm going to have to do that. My bad. And make sure that you guys do that as well.